Hi friends and welcome to Cat's Corner. This is Cat. I am Cat. Whatever way you want to say. I'm already starting off great, huh? And you can find me on Ravelry as Cat Straight, and also for the board game aspect at the end of the podcast, you can find me on Board Game Geek as Moraine A. Sedai. You can find that in the show notes as to the spelling. We also have a group on Ravelry, so please go ahead and join that because you can win some stuff, because I'm actually starting to get some stuff. Not as... Ooh, something just fell. Not as anyone gifting stuff to the podcast to give, it's just some stuff that I'm going to give away. So, join the group. I'll explain one of the giveaways in just a second, and there's a future one that should be coming along soon. By the way, hi, all returning viewers and all new viewers, welcome. Today is our dreary day. Today is February the 23rd, Sunday, and it's pouring raining. So we have lots of artificial light, so hopefully we'll get bright colors, because I think I finally figured out lighting yesterday, and I said, okay, let me do this in the middle of the day, and now it's all dark outside again. Fun, fun, fun. So let's go straight to our first giveaway. All members of the Ravelry group are entered in up to the first 50. It's going to be a 50-member milestone. I think we have a total of 12 members, not including myself now. So once we hit 50 members, we will give away a hand-carved yarn ball stamp. That I just freehanded and carved. That looks like that. That person will be chosen randomly. And then that person gets the chance to gift a prize to another member of our Ravelry group. So you have to make sure you're in the Ravelry group. Oh crap, my son messed it up. He got a hold of him the other day. Yesterday. So I'm going to have to carve a new one. But it did look like this. So I'm going to have to fix it, because you can see right there he somehow pulled that off. So I'll be making another one of these as for the friend gift. And that's what that one looked like. It's probably not going to look the same because, like I said, I freeform them. So I'll be making another stamp to give away as a friend gift. I did not realize he had messed it up. Toddlers, huh? So I'll have to do that. So the podcast, after we hit the 50-member mark, the first 50 members are going to get entered into a giveaway, and the randomly chosen will get the unmessed up stamp, this one, and then they will gift a friend another stamp that I'm going to have to make, since my son just messed up the other one that I had. So that, the next giveaway we will have, once I get the yarn in, I will start the giveaway, and it's going to be for 2 skeins of Capistrani Fiber Arts yarn. I had mentioned a couple podcasts ago after I finished my climbing lace socks that I was disappointed in the color change of one of the skeins because it went from these deep colors to some pastels in the middle of the sock. So, I was expecting some sort of a change somewhere, but to me it was very drastic. So I said I was disappointed on the podcast about the yarn, but I wasn't going to contact her because I didn't want to rip it out or return the skein or anything like that because I wanted the socks. I liked the yarn still, even though I was disappointed that that color change had happened. Well, after thinking about it for a couple weeks and knowing I had mentioned that I was disappointed in the color, I finally decided to contact her. I didn't think it was fair for me to mention that on here without at least trying to get in touch with her about it. So she issued me a refund for the skein that had the weird color change in it. So what I decided to do was use that refund to purchase another skein of yarn in her shop, which wasn't going to be enough to really do too much because I think it's like 160 yards. So I then purchased, with my money, a identical skein. So you'll get 2 skeins. Capistrano Fiber Arts. It's 100% superwash merino, I think is the one I picked. So once that comes in, we will have a giveaway for that, and I will open a thread. I did notice that it's been shipped, so hopefully maybe the next podcast we will be able to start it up. I'll probably run it for a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. Depends on how I'm feeling at the time whenever I do the podcast. And what we're going to do for that is when I open the thread up, we'll have, you can go on, I'll link to her Etsy shop, and you can go on and you can peruse her wares and, say what you like out of there. And also, so that'll be one entry, and then you can get another entry for having someone else join the Ravelry group and perusing her wares. But they have to mention that you told them to come and do this. So then you can get another one. So for each friend you can get more entries to get the yarn. So I'll have that all listed in the thread once I get the yarn in. So hopefully next podcast, which may not be next week, it may be the week following. Because next week's going to be kind of crazy for us. So maybe in 2 weeks, I should have the yarn by 2 weeks unless the post office really screws up. I'll set all that up and we can have a fun giveaway for some pretty yarn. I think if I'm remembering correctly, I picked out a yarn that has pinks in it because if you didn't watch last week, I've been super obsessed with pink lately. So I really wanted to keep it for myself, which I might have to go and buy it for myself too, but I'm trying to be good. So these 2 skeins will be for y'all. So stay tuned for the exact amount of time you're going to have to enter and the exact rules, but it's going to be something along those lines. It's going to be a matter of what my brain will allow me to think about whenever I announce the official opening of that giveaway. So that is that. I think that was everything. Yeah, I think that was pretty much everything I needed to discuss. So if you want to know a little bit of what's been going on in our life, you're just curious, it's been pretty much I had a nice fun Friday morning. I was starting to wash clothes and the wash machine started to smoke. Fun, fun, fun. So of course I turned off the wash machine and called my dad. My husband was fixing to go and teach his class, so I didn't want to bother him. So I called my dad. He came over and looked at it around lunchtime for me and really couldn't see much wrong. There was just maybe one little cord that had some material wrapped around it that looked like it was rubbing on something, and it looks like that may have kind of started to burn through, so we'll just have to close up that hole and hopefully everything will be okay. I washed 3 more loads after my dad came and nothing, so that was a fun, stressful Friday morning. So, oh, I do have one thing to show y'all that I thought was super, super cute, and I'm a very proud mommy, so you're going to probably see lots of fun little things. But I usually do my yoga workouts during the first part of his nap time. Well, I had initially started trying to teach him how to do yoga so that I could do it anytime I wanted to. So he occasionally goes and he pulls out my yoga mat and starts going, yo-ya, yo-ya mama, yo-ya. So we did yo-ya last night, which the first 5 to 10 minutes was good. He actually tried to do it with me, and then the rest of the time it was climbing on mommy, climbing through her legs, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So, but my husband got a couple pictures of him actually participating with mommy, and I thought they were cute, so that's at the very beginning. If you don't know how yoga exactly is, that's and just preparing yourself. And then he climbed in my lap and we started doing yoga. So I thought it was too cute and I had to share. So yeah. So let's get into all the fun stuff. Okay. We're going to start with finished objects. Since I just finished talking about yoga, I did finish my yoga socks Monday morning. And they're kind of all stretched out because I've worn them a couple times and they need to be washed and re-blocked and stuff. But yoga socks and the little lacy top part. And that's the colors. They're a white, a black, brown, and a pink all applied together. The yoga socks are called the Double Duty Yoga Socks / Boot Toppers by Rebecca Kirsten. It's a free Ravelry download. I used Burnett's Handicrafter Cotton Candy Collection in the color Licorice Treat. And so you can see what they look like on. That's what they look like on. So really cute. I'll probably make some more. They do keep your feet really warm. I've been having a little trouble with balancing while wearing them since I'm not used to having anything in between my foot and the yoga mat, so I usually have a lot of grip on my foot with the yoga mat, but with the socks you have this part here that is under your arch, so that was kind of interesting. Not to mention having a 2-year-old running through your legs, that doesn't help keep your balance at all. So that was that. I did try them as boot toppers a couple days ago, but I'm going to have to get bigger boots because the yarn is a DK or a worsted weight, I don't remember. I think it was a worsted weight yarn, and it was too thick for my boots because I got them to where they fit just perfectly because I usually wear just really thin ankle socks. So I'm going to have to get some more boots to go with those socks too, apparently, since my climbing lace socks, I haven't found shoes for those yet either. So I'm going to go buy shoes. Okay, so my next finished project I mentioned a couple episodes ago that my husband and I have started trying for our second child. No news on that yet. But I started already trying to make some things for our child, hopeful future child. And I came up with, I wanted to make an owl bunting. So this is my owl bunting that I made up. And it's kind of big, but I was wanting it to be a little bit more on the bigger side because I'm hoping that they can grow into it, because we swaddled Linus for months and he just grew so quickly that, you know, the buntings I made for him, we only got to wear them for like a week or two. So I made this one bigger than the other ones, and I did not use the pattern that the other ones. I just pretty much winged this one, but having already made a couple of them, it's pretty much a bag. So here's the bunting. It has not been blocked. The last time I worked on it, I was right here. So significant progress. This is my attempt at making chevrons without using a pattern. They're a little, but I'm happy with it. The yarns I used, trying to reach, are the Baronet's Cotton Tots. I used catnip and what's this one? Sea Kiss and Poppy. So those are the ones that I used. I think I did mention on the last episode that someone had contacted me about wanting to get one of my Sea Kiss skeins, which I think I'm going to be able to message it back and say, yes, you can have one, because I didn't even use a whole skein yet. So I'm going to be good with just keeping 2 skeins. So I have the bunting. And then, since the bunting doesn't really look like the owl I made, because I wanted to make the hat look like an owl, here's my hat. So I didn't do really the chevrons on the hat. I just kind of did, you can see it better on the back, I just did some little points. I just thought the chevrons would be too busy. So I did that. The eyes are left over from another one of the Baronet's Cotton Tots, but I don't even remember what the colorway was. I just had like this little bitty ball left over from one of Linus's buntings I had made. I had made him a bunny one. So I actually kind of made that one up myself too. I kind of altered a bear pattern. But this one's all me. And then the black, I embroidered the black onto the eyes. It's just some random black wool one. It may even be like the I Love This Wool from Joann's. No, Hobby Lobby. Oh, I'm so hooked on Joann's now, apparently. And then the beak here is just the orange that I embroidered. And his eyes are a little wonky. I didn't get them exactly lined up. This one I was trying to get the eye to be more in this general vicinity, but it's okay. He looks kind of like, ooh, I'm kooky. And I was going to actually make ears, and I was just looking to see other people's, I think I was just looking at owl images. Searching for some other owl patterns because I really like owls for like babies and stuff, and I've been looking for some plain knitting. So I was looking at some owl stuff, and I saw that a lot of people were just kind of doing like little tassels for the ears, and me and my husband both liked it. So I just took some of the yarn, and this one has 2 blue and this one I think has 2 green. So that's my owl. I made this one a little bit bigger too, knowing that I made this a little bit bigger, so that hopefully it'll fit well for not just 2 weeks. But now I just need to get pregnant, huh? So I got that, and I think those are my only 2 finished objects. So let's go to works in progress. I am still working on the Street Vest by Jolene Mosley. Last podcast, I could not drop a needle this time, would be great. I was on the back still. I was right here, and you can tell it has not been blocked at all, so we're very curly. So I was right here. I finished the back, which is basically all the stockinette stitching, and bound off. I normally, whenever I bind off on objects, I use the sewn bind off. But I've been noticing whenever I try, and I had made 2 other sweaters for Linus, and that just wasn't working well for picking up the neckline and stuff. So I did the knit 2, then you knit the 2 together on the right needle, and you slip that stitch back to your left needle, and then you knit 2, then you knit 2 together on your left needle, and then you slip the stitch back over. So I've been liking that for doing my necklines. It also gives me a good place to pick up stitches, because you get a little bit more, if you can see, you can get a little bit more of a hole in there. So I've been liking that for my necklines, whenever I have to pick up stitches along the neck, which I haven't done that too very often. But so I finished the back. Oh, and since I kind of made my own stitch marker, which I'll show you. So I had this random, I guess it's a crochet stitch marker, because you can take it out. And an old friend of mine had made this little pendant that I was going to crochet a necklace for, or knit a necklace for, I don't remember. And it was supposed to be, you know, kind of, if you're, you know what Mignon Faget is? It's a upscale jewelry store. She had a collection that was based off of the snow cones, snowballs. I think she called them snowballs, not snow cones. So she kind of made that her interpretation, and so it's just been sitting there waiting for me to make like a little necklace for it, and I haven't done it yet. And I found this in some random stuff that I had lying around, so I just stuck it on there. So I have a cute stitch marker, which I'll be getting some more cute stitch markers soon too. About that later. So I finished the back, and I am on the front. I am working this on size 7 needles. I think it called for size 8. Pattern starts at a size 3. My son's getting into a 2T, so I was a little big on gauge anyways, so I just went down to size 7, and if it doesn't quite fit him now, it'll fit him in a little while. But so I'm doing the front, and you can now see the cute cable pattern that is going on there. So it's just on the one side and it goes all the way up. You have 2 charts for your cable. So I've done chart 1, chart 2, chart 1. And I think I am now at the arm shaping. So I'm going to have to check in on that and see how it's going to go. So hopefully I'll get this done in the next couple days. I'm trying to work one chart each day, which I've already done 1 chart today, so maybe I can get 2 today. But I'm thinking it's only going to be a couple more charts and I should be just about done. So that is that. The yarn I am using, there it goes. I was doing so good at not dropping that needle this time, and I just dropped it again. And you can hear it so well on these floors. It's Classic Elite Portland Tweed and the colorway Blue Tweed. And let's see if I can get my, don't have much of a ball left. It's more of a gray blue. It always shows up more of a bright blue in here, but it's more of a gray blue. And this is in my Good to Be Girls Gasly's bag, which is super pretty, and I'm still loving it. The only thing that I wish it had was some pockets on the inside. That's the only thing. This bag will probably be coming with me on the plane. I'm expecting another bag in the next couple days. Hopefully it'll get here before we leave. Don't know. If it does, that one may come with me. But I'm not quite sure because this one, it has the little clampy thing. So I can hook it to something. So we'll see. So that's one thing that I'm working on. And I just started this project almost right before I started podcasting. Started videoing. Whatever. Getting comfortable again. And it is out of yarn that I have no idea really what it is. My son and my nephew's birthdays are a week apart, and they are a year apart. So we're going to have a combined birthday party for them, which I'll actually have some invitations finished so you can actually get to see some because they're super cute. So I was wanting to make him something for his birthday, but he's going to be 1. So I don't really want to use my really good yarn for him. I know it's going to probably get messed up. So I just looked to see what I had, and this is some yarn I had purchased at a yard sale. It looks like it's a hand spun yarn. It's a very scratchy wool, and I'm pretty sure it's a wool. And it's in like a dark, deep chocolate brown color. And then out of that mystery bag of yarn that I had got last week, they had this really pretty colored rainbow yarn. And Suburban Stitcher is still doing the rainbow along until I think the 28th. So if I get this done, apparently you can enter more than once. So if I get this done before then, I'll have another thing. But it should be a really quick project. So what I'm going to do is I had made him an owl puff to go along with a book that we had bought him for Christmas. I think the book's called Little Owl's Night, so I tried to make the owl to match the owl in the book. Well, apparently he loves this little stuffed owl. So I'm making him another one, but this one's going to be a nice big floofy one. And so I'm stranded the 2 yarns together, and this is how far I've gotten. So you get all these fun colors. I'm using a size N hook And right now I'm just doing single crochets. I'm still doing increases right now. But what I'm planning on doing is felting it after I'm done. Because I know the weird hand spun stuff will felt, because I made a felted purse several years ago for my sister-in-law. So I know it will felt. The rainbow yarn, I'm not sure, but it feels like it's an acrylic, so it should not felt. So I'm thinking that's going to give me a really good, weird looking texture. I'm hoping so. Yeah, so that rainbow color will nice and pop. So I'm just gonna go until I feel like I want to stop, and then we'll felt it and stuff it and make some fun eyes, and it'll be some fun little creature. So I like it just like this, but I mean, I think it just looks neat. I mean, it's got dark blue and light blue and purple and red and orange and yellow and light green and dark green and pink. It's really cool looking. So actually I think it might have 3 different shades of green. But that's my other work in progress. And that's, I think that's it. Stash enhancements. Okay, so seriously, I was obsessed with pink last week. And since my husband didn't get me anything for Valentine's Day, I bought myself something. Actually, I bought myself 3 things. I only got 1 of them in. So what I got it is called Pink Flamingos at Midnight. It is, I literally just took it out of the bag because I haven't wanted to take it out of the bag because it's so pretty. It's like these bright pinks and pale pinks and blacks, and it's got like a gold stellina in it. And you're getting a good shine right there. But yeah, it's from Boho Knitter Chic Spins, and she's on Etsy. It is 100 grams. It's a sock fingering weight yarn. There's 438 yards in it, and it's 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. So that is shiny. And I am so much in love with this yarn right now that I don't want to knit it up. I just want to sit there and stare at it. Like if you could put it on a pedestal and just stare at it and look at it. So pretty. So pretty. So I'm having to, I thought I had the perfect idea for this yarn, which was a pattern in my Ostentatious crochet book, and it was like this little shrug type thing, but I would need like 3 or 4 more skeins of this, so I don't think that's going to happen because I only bought the one, and I can't see spending quite that much money for a little shrug thing that I may never really even wear. Because yeah. But, so, once I find the perfect pattern, and it has to be the perfect pattern, or else this ain't getting knit up yet, then something fun will be made with this. So if you have a pattern that you think would be absolutely gorgeous in this, you go ahead and let me know. I'm open for suggestions. Maybe you see something that I don't. I also, in the package, she sent a pattern for this little cowl. you can see it. And it's called Facet. I don't know. Not entirely sure. So I don't know if that would be something I would knit. Maybe not for me, maybe for somebody else. But I thought that was cute. I got a little pattern with it too. And now it's going back in the bag to make sure nothing happens to it. This is so pretty. So pretty. Okay, back in the bag. Now, two other things that I bought that I'm also waiting to come in is another project bag. I've been looking for a Star Trek project bag that I really actually liked. A lot of the patterns are fabric patterns were kind of weird to me. I didn't really like it. So I found one, and it kind of has like an old comic book feel to it, and it must have just gotten put up like within the week or two that I bought it, because I searched for it like at least once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and I just saw that one pop up, so it was on Valentine's Day, so I bought it, and it should be getting here hopefully in the next couple days. I also found some really cute stitch markers. I don't remember who I got the bag from and who I got stitch markers from, but whenever I get them in, I'll let y'all know. But it's little polymer clay Kirk and Spock stitch markers. So that's gonna be awesome too. If you can't tell, I am a huge Star Trek fan. If you can see my travel posters. And there's another one over on that side. They're for Viridian 3. Vulcan, and I can't quite make out the other one right now. So, and not just any Star Trek, it has to be the original series. I like all the Star Treks. But who can beat Spock? Seriously. Like, I had a huge crush on him. I still do. Spock. Love Spock. Okay. And I love nerds too. Oh, sometimes I just think I'm special. Okay, so those are the other things that I'm waiting to come in. And I think that might be all for the knitting and crocheting, so we'll just get into other crafts. I did make another stamp this week, and I will show you why. For the cards that I had been making, the birthday invitations. Oh, it's okay. This is my sample. I had made this little cutout for the Sesame Street thing, but you can tell that the numbers really didn't come out. So I was kind of disappointed about that. And I didn't really like the colors that I had, and I didn't want to go buy any more paper. So what I wound up doing was I made another stamp. And it's Sesame Street. And the 3's a little wonky whenever I carved it out. But it's just for the invitation, so I wasn't too worried about it. It's for me. You know, I'm okay with it. So here is a completely finished card. I still have like maybe 10 more cards to do because I ran out of Y's. So I'm going to have to cut out a couple more Y's to finish it. But here is a completely finished card. All the balloons are different colors, and the party colors are kind of different too. And he's got googly eyes. And let me hide my address and stuff. But that's the stamp. And it says, brought to you by the letters F and L and the numbers 1 and 2. So, and you have to ignore my really bad handwriting. It was like 25 cards I was writing. My hand cramped up bad. And then on the back of the envelope, I stamped it again. And you can see the 3 looks really kind of weird. But like I said, it's for me. I'm not too picky. If I was selling it, I would be very picky. But so I have that, and I also yesterday started working on their banner, which I haven't printed anything out yet. I'm just doing all the layout work and stuff on the computer. So hopefully maybe next week. I don't know, because I may not be posting next week. I may not be videoing next week. Maybe in 2 weeks I'll actually have a couple things started working on the banner. So that's stamp carving and paper crafting. And looks like about it. So that's all for the crafting. If you want to stick around for a game, then let's log your plays. I have played really nothing this week. A couple times we were thinking about getting something to the table, but it just never really happened. I did play maybe an hour or 2 of Dungeons & Dragons Online with my brother on Monday night, which we're still trying to level ourselves up a bit more. Like this close. I think I need 2,000 more experience, and then I'm there. He needs a couple more than that. I think he needs like 4 or 5. So we've just been replaying quests and hoping to level ourselves up so we can move on with some new quests. Where shall I quest today? If you don't get that reference, check out the guild. But our game to discuss today, since I don't have any game that we played to discuss, I picked out Samurai. This was another one of Nate and I's first games that we've gotten. This is a Rio Grande game, and it's by Reiner Knizia. So basically, and I really am going to have to like set up a video camera one day with the game actually set up on the table, so I can stop using the box back. But you have a little island, and the island depends on how many players you have. So you can have a smaller island or a bigger island. And you have these little pieces. Let's see if I can get them out without making a huge mess, because they have some really nice little pieces. So you have little hats. And you have little rice fields. And then the best one are little Buddhas. Oh, you can't see the Buddha. Can you see it? Kind of see the... He's got a little face. You have your little Buddhas. And let me get a part of the island. So here's your island. And these little pieces go on the little temple places. And if it has 1, you have 1 thing. If it has 2, you have 2, but they have to be different. And if it has 3, I think there's only 1 place that has 3, which is over here on this part of the island. You'll have all 3 of them. And how the game works is you have all these fun little tiles, and it says, you know, like, oops, a 4 Buddha. Okay? So you have a 4 Buddha. So you're going to find a place on the island that has a Buddha. I mean, you don't necessarily have to play Buddha with Buddha, but you usually want to. Unless you're just trying to close something up super quickly. But you'll play your tile around the little temples, and anywhere that tile touches, and say you have there's a Buddha here and there's a Buddha here, you have 4 points towards getting these 2 Buddhas. Okay? Once the island, or once that little area is completely filled, so this place here, oops, wrong way. This place right here is now completely surrounded. It doesn't have to be surrounded by water tiles, just land tiles. So once it's completely closed off, you see who has the highest amount of points towards that particular piece that's there. It can change. There's special tiles that let you swap one piece from this side of the board and put it to, let's just say, whoops, if I can get it right, over here, and then the piece that was here goes down to this part. So you can do that. So you may have, say it was a Buddha there, and you have your big 4 Buddha, and then someone swaps it and puts a hat there, and then they just play their little 1 dinky hat. Well, they don't get it because they have the most points towards hats. And you keep doing that until either all the pieces on the board, okay, let me see if I can rephrase that, until one of the types of pieces is completely off the board. So you may have run out of hats on the board and still have Buddhas and rice fields, but as soon as that hat leaves the board, that player's turn's over, game's over. Or until there are, I think it's 4 pieces. Yeah, until there's 4 pieces have been removed from the board, but not to any particular player. So that happens when there is a tie for a particular piece. So once 4 pieces become tied, they just kind of get moved off to the side of the board and they're nobodies. If there's 4 of them like that, then the game's over. And to calculate winning is if any player has captured the most figures of 2 or 3 types, so you have the most Buddhas and rice fields, you win. And of course, if you have the most of all 3, you win. If no one has, if it's all, each player has the most of one particular type, if you have the most of none, you can't win. You have to have the most of at least one. But if you're tied, then you set those figures aside. So whatever you have the most of that you tied with somebody else. So if I have the most Buddhas, and let's say I'm playing with Nate. He has the most hats, nobody has the most rice fields. Just say. Or we'll just say Linus is playing too, and he has the most rice fields. Okay? So we all have 1 of them. Then you're going to set, for me it would be Buddhas, I'm going to set all my Buddhas aside and count up all my other pieces. Nate would set all his hats aside, count up all his other pieces. Linus would set all his rice fields aside and count up all his pieces. And then the player who's captured the most other figures wins. If there is still a tie, then you count up all your pieces. So I would count all my Buddhas, rice fields, and hats. You count up every piece you have. Whoever has the most wins. If there is still a tie, then you both win. There is hidden information in this game. You have your little player board. At any particular time, you'll have your stack of these all face down in front of you. but you'll have 5 of them face up behind your player board. So I'll have 5 things face up behind my player board, and the ones behind my player board are the ones that I can use to put down on the map. You play one, at the end of your turn you get to redraw up to 5. Also, whenever you capture a thingamajig, a figure, it goes behind your little player mat, so that nobody will really know how many you have. There are special tiles. You can only ever play one tile on the board unless it has this little special symbol, and you can play as many of these as you want on any particular turn. Of course, you know, boats go in the water. Let's see, I don't have any else in here. This is the swappy tile, so you play this to the side and you can swap one tile from one area with another figure from another area. There is a swap tile. This is a swap. This is a swap figure. This is a swap tile. This one isn't a one that you can play and then play other things with, but you play this where you have one of your tiles. So usually you're going to use it for like one of your 4 tiles. And then you pick that tile up and you move it to another place on the board, and this one just is kind of like a placeholder. You have some wilds that have the little special thing that lets you play more than once. And you also have some regular wilds. These are regular, or wilds, but you can only play one of those. And I think that's pretty much it. It's a fun little kind of abstract-y strategy game. First couple times, whenever I did not understand how to play the game, I won. Now that I understand how to play the game, I can't win for the life of me. So you go figure that. And I think that's pretty much the game. So let me pick all this stuff back up, and I'll show you the box one more time. And you can check it out. The game plays up to 4 players, I believe. I think it's a 4-player game. Yeah, it's 2 to 4. Really, it can be played with 2 to 4. I don't particularly like to play it with only 2 people because that means I'm usually just playing it with Nate, and he is better at doing those weird think ahead, chessy strategy type stuff than I am. So I tend to not really like to play those type of games with just him. But 3 players is really good. 4 players is fine. So that's Samurai by Reiner Knizia. I will link to it on the show notes, and I think that's all for today. So join the Ravelry group to win a stamp, and stay tuned for future drawing information, and go have fun today. Bye.